The Dragonknight rework is finally here. Decay is the first ESO class that will be reworked in an attempt to give classes some of their identity back and make pure class builds more viable. Skills have been moved around the 3 decay lines and several of them have been reworked or adjusted. Let's go ahead and take a look at all the Dragonknight class changes in update 49, starting with Ardent Flame. The Dragonknight Standard and the Standard of Might morph no longer deal damage or apply major defile. They now grant to you and up to 11 allies extra weapon and spell damage and reduced damage taken. Standard of Might increases the bonuses of the caster while Shifting Standard works like before. Lava Whip now turns into Volcanic Whip when it damages an off-balance enemy. Volcanic Whip costs half as much and deals 33.3% more damage in a 5-meter radius around the original target. Flame Last now heals you every time you deal damage. Molten Whip on the other hand builds up when activating any Dragonknight skill. The stack bonus is adjusted to 33% per stack, but reduced the duration to 10 seconds. Searing Strike and Morphs now last 10 seconds but deal 50% more damage per second. Verma's Claw was renamed to Searing Claw and now deals flame damage instead of poison. Here we have to say that the Dragonknight class has lost all of its poison skills and is now dedicated to flame damage. Searing Claw remains a stamina morph that increases damage per tick. The Burning Ember's Heal now scales off maximum health. Core of Flame, which originally was the Inhale skill, and its morphs no longer deal damage instantly or heal for the damage caused. They now restore 15% of your missing magicka and stamina 3 times over 4 seconds and continue to deal their original damage around you after the duration ends. Soul Flame, which was originally the Deep Breath skill, now interrupts after a 350 microseconds delay and continues to increase the damage of the delayed explosion, which has increased to a 33% bonus. Heart of Flame, which was originally Draw Essence, now heals you for 15% of your missing health for each tick. Hearthfire, which was originally Ash Cloud, and the Firekeeper morph now grant minor fortitude and heroism to allies inside the area instead of slowing enemy speed by 70%. The former Eruption, which is now called Hearth and Home, now scales off max health and still reduces enemy speed by 7%. It also grants major protection. Inferno and Incinerate now fire a massive wave of flames in front of you that deals fire damage and has the chance to apply burning. The chance to apply burning was reduced to 5%. Incinerate deals 10% more damage though and has a 15% base chance of applying burning. Combustion now grants you 225 magicka and stamina when applying burning with an Ardent Flame ability slotted with a 1 second cooldown. The Traumatic Burns, which was originally Warmth, now causes enemies you have damaged with a direct Ardent Flame ability to take 5% increased flame damage while reducing their speed for 5 seconds. Fan the Flames, which was originally Searing Heat, now increases your chance of applying burning by 50% and the damage it does by 25%. These values increase by 10% and 5% respectively for each Dragonknight ability you have slotted. A Soul Ablaze, which was originally Burning Heart, now increases healing taken at all times by 8%. Moving on to Draconic Power and Dragon Leap. This ultimate and the Take Flight morph now deal flame damage instead of physical. Take Flight now fills you with Draconic Power for 15 seconds after activation, which increases damage done by 10% and doubles against monsters. Ferocious Leap, on the other hand, applies a damage shield instantly and knocks enemies up, so it can be of help in tanking. Fury Breath is now called Dragonfire Breath. Its duration was decreased to 10 seconds and its damage per second was increased by 50%. Noxious Breath is now Disintegrating Dragonfire and deals flame damage instead of poison. Remains a stamina ability and still applies Major Breach to enemies. Engulfing Dragonfly, formerly known as Engulfing Flames, channels flame damage in front of you and deals 20% increased damage up to a maximum of 80%. Choking Talons had their minor maim duration increased. Dragon Blood and Green Dragon Blood now heal based on your max health and increase based on your missing health. Blood of the Elder Dragon now also heals allies within 10 meters of you and grants minor cards and major fortitude to any heal target. Wing Buffet, that was originally Protective Scale, and the Fleet Steps Wings morph now knock enemies back after a slight delay and reduce damage taken from ranged and projectile attacks by 50%. They also grant Major Expedition. Protect the Brood no longer deals flame damage back to attackers but grants 25% reduced damage taken from projectiles and minor protection to you and group members affected. Fury Grip is now Chains of Flame and applies burning along with its morphs. This skill and the Chains of Domination apply Major Cowardice to your enemy. Chains of Domination increase the duration of Major Cowardice to 15 seconds. Chains of Devastation now grants Major Evasion for 10 seconds. Major Berserk duration increased to 6 seconds as well. Iron Skin had its name changed to Burn Scales. World in Ruin now increases damage done with AoE and dot attacks by 7%. Elder Dragon increases health recovery by up to 700 per Draconic ability slotted. It also grants you and nearby group members minor brutality for 20 seconds when you activate the Draconic Power ability. Battle Roar was replaced with the Storm Voice passive, which grants 16 health, magicka and stamina per ultimate spend plus 6 to these values per decay skill. Finally, in Earthen Heart, the Magma Armor Ultimate and its Magma Cell morph no longer deal flame damage, but their duration was increased to 15 seconds. Magma Cell had the radius of its shield increased to 28 meters, and its size was increased to 133% of the target's max health. Corrosive Armor now deals flame damage instead of poison, and the damage per tick increased by 300%. Its damage limit was adjusted to 8%, which means that you now take more damage while it is active. Stone Fist was changed to Superheated Ward. Now a magicka skill that grants you or an ally a damage shield, scaling off your max magicka or stamina. Obsidian Shard was renamed to Volcanic Ward and adds a healing effect when the shield ends. It also reduces the next instance of damage taken by 10% from any attack. Stone Giant is now Magma Fist and deals flame damage instead of physical. Its debuff is now called Heat Shock instead of Stagger, lasts 10 seconds and causes enemies to take 33 more damage from all sources per stack. It no longer stuns enemies on the third cast. Molten Weapons and Morphs now cause the caster's light and heavy attacks to deal an additional hit of flame damage up to once every 2 seconds. Obsidian Shield and Morphs now last for 6 seconds, increase the duration of major mending granted by this ability and Igneous Shield to 4 seconds. Igneous Shield also increases the self-shield size by 12%. Fragmented Shield's damage shield now scales with a higher of max magic or stamina and is capped at 31% of the recipient's max health. Reduce the duration of major mending from this morph to 6 seconds. Petrify and morphs no longer instantly stun the target and ignore block and dodge. They now begin to encase the target in molten rock for 1 second while snaring them by 50% and applying minor bridge to them for 10 seconds. After the 1 second, the target will be stunned for 4 seconds or 8 seconds if they are a monster. Stun still ignores block but can be dodged. Fossilize now adds minor vulnerability and increases the duration of minor debuffs effects to 17 seconds. Also continues to immobilize after the stun ends for 4 seconds. Shattering Rocks keeps damage and healing on stunned end, increase the amount of damage and healing done by 15%. Earth Spike Mantle is the form and spiked armor. This skill and its morphs now increase your damage done by 100 while active. Shatter Spike Mantle dot effect scales with your offensive stats rather than your armor, and when dealing damage with the effect you add 1 extra stack of avalanche up to once every 10 seconds. Hardened Armor was renamed to Earth Shield Mantle. Scaled Armor was renamed to Hard Stone. Avalanche is a new passive that replaces Battle Roar. It now causes you to slowly build stacks of avalanche when dealing damage up to once every 5 seconds. Avalanche grants 1% damage done per stack and maxes out at 10 stacks. You lose a stack if you don't deal damage for 2 seconds. Mountain's Blessing was renamed to Blessing at the Peak and lost its minor brutality effect. Helping Hands was renamed to Mountain Giant and now causes your fully charged heavy attacks to apply off balance to the target. Rank 2 restores stamina whenever you complete a fully charged heavy attack. These are all the changes to Dragonknight skills and lines. What do you think of the rework? Are you happy with the changes? What else would you like to see for the Dragonknight class? Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe for more builds and guides. Have a great day.